Hello folks, very warm welcome to another video. I hope wherever you are in the world you're safe and well, or as safe and as well in both the physical and mental sense that you can be, as well, the world goes to hell in a handbasket, it would appear sometimes. It's not all that bad. All depends on your perspective to some extent. Perspective is a little bit important. What's this video, folks? Well, it's not going to be deep and meaningful. I wasn't intending to. What is it about? Probably should have asked myself that before I pressed record. Would have been handy. I'll tell you what this is. That's very interesting. The windsocks mated. A double bunger, that's what we call it. Hey? The wind's so strong in this part of the world that they need two windsocks to measure it. Folks, what this is going to be is a rescue mission of sorts. A rescue mission with a difference. How about I'll show you where we are. Well, you can see where we are. We're at an airport. That's a start. This is a custom freeware rendition of a place called Rockhampton Airport, folks. Central Queensland, Australia. Rockhampton, otherwise known as Rocky. That's where we begin our journey. This is a pretty nice bit of work here, and it'll be linked to it in the description. We're going to depart Rocky, and we're going to head to a place that we visited the other day in a video. A place called Hamilton Island, or Hamo, as it's known to the locals. But let me fire up a little nav map, and I'll show you how we're going to get there. Alright, little nav map. Begin our journey, as I mentioned, in Rocky, and track north, skirting the Shoalwater Bay training area used by our Defence Force. Track north towards the city of Mackay, which is there. Spent some time in Mackay. And then we're going to head off the coast out towards Brampton Island, and then continue sort of in a northwesterly direction. Lindeman Island is here, and our eventual destination is Hamo, which is here. Now, Hamo got the treatment, the Asobo treatment in the recent World Update number 7. I'm going to run with a custom freeware rendition of Hamilton Island, which I think is actually better. So yeah, but why are we going to Hamilton Island? Well, regular viewers to the channel will know, well, that I'm a bit of an idiot. That's a given, but they will also be familiar with a person that joins me on flights from time to time, a co-pilot, a co-conspirator, my number one gal being the lovely Jude. Now, we flew to Hamilton Island the other day on a bit of a milk run, and for reasons that still escape me, she ditched me. She did not appear in the final leg that took us, you may remember, from Hamo across to the Whitsunday Coast Airport. Couldn't get her to appear in the sim, and I put that down to her going AWOL and hooking up with a sugar daddy. Well, as it turns out, it's kind of true, because I've received word overnight from the carrier pigeon. Carrier pigeons landed on me rocking chair down here in Rocky, where I happened to have flown to the other day. The carrier pigeon came with a little note from a subscriber to the channel, and that little note said, "Get her out of here." Now, folks, I didn't need to go to university to work out who he was talking about. Let me jump inside, gets this show on the road. I've received such similar notes in the past, folks, from people. Blokes who think, oh yeah, Jude, she's a good sort. Let me have a go. Only to realise days later that she's too much woman for them. And I think that's the case. So anyway, old mate, the subscriber, who I won't name here, protect the innocent, has asked me to come and get Jude. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to fly up to Hamilton and rescue her and see if she'll come with us. So it's a bit of it's a rescue of someone who doesn't want to be rescued. That's kind of the situation here. Come back downstairs, put this on, address Betty's needs, start some stuff. Get the starter happening. There we go. Folks, I'll get us started and on our way up to Hamo. And as I do this flight, I might look at an interesting development, well, what I think is an interesting development in the world of sim, concerning FS economy. I might take a little look at that en route. But anyway, let's go get Jude. Alright, so runway 15 for our departure here in Rocky this morning, folks. Beautiful day, this part of the world. We're going to need a little bit of flap shortly, fella. Trims will be right, flap's good. We'll get our lights on once we get out onto the strip. We'll take an intersection departure this morning. Get our rudder pedals sorted as best we can. Been a while since I've been to Rocky in real life. It was the first time I went to Rocky. It was in a transit, for transit purposes, heading out to Great Keppel Island. That was a top spot back in the day. Their catchphrase out there was "get wrecked on Keppel," and boy, some people did. Holy hell! There was bulk alcohol consumed, and it wasn't just alcohol. Wasn't the only drugs, folks. Let me tell you. Anyway, enough about that. I may incriminate myself. So, I'm going to zoom in a bit. What are we doing here? Right, so left-hand turn after departure. Our first waypoint will be YMA. We'll go altitude on here. We'll go upstairs momentarily. Turn the landing lights on and the strobies on. Everything else is good. We've got enough juice to get up there. We do. Yeah, so we're carrying about 120 gallons. Not going to be a long flight, folks. 200 odd miles. I think everything's pretty good to go here. Let's do this thing. Nice long strip here in Rocky. Introduce that juice. Away we go. Just me on board. Nice and light. A bit more torque, thanks. There we go. Power is set. Airspeed's alive. Everything's good to go. We'll rotate around about 80. Nice light breeze by the looks of it. Now you can rotate about there. Up we go. A little bit of right boot. Gear can come up. Fly runway heading for about 100 feet. Which is going to be around about there. We're going to go flaps up. We're going to go left-hand turn. Away we go. Nice early turn. That's how we like it. We need to get Jude out of this bloke's basement. He's had enough. You're not the first one, mate. You're not the first one. Look, in any event, I kind of need Jude for the next plane and trains journey that we're going to do, which is going to be here in Australia. I want her company. So it's timely that the carrier pigeon made its way down to where I was staying here in Rocky. For recent viewers of the channel, new viewers, yes, I make a whole lot of shit up, folks. I keep myself entertained. There's Rocky. We say farewell. There, folks. Jeez, what's going on with that water? What's happening here? Doesn't quite look right to mine eyes. Anyway. So folks, so I'll continue our journey. We're going to go VFR at 8,500, and I do that so I can actually enjoy the terrain. And as we settle into the cruise and let Georgie do some flying, I'll talk a little bit about some recent developments in the world of FS economy and a bit of a special offer for FS economy pilots who also happen to be viewers of this channel. So I'll see you in a little bit for that. Alright, so settled nicely into the cruise, 8,500 feet. We'll sort of TAS at around 260-ish. This current power setting, we are going to run a little bit high on the usage of the fuel, but that's okay. We've got 26 knots southerly, a bit of breeze up the date. That's going to help us get to Hamo pretty quickly. En route forecast is less than 40 minutes from here, and we've got endurance fuel for another hour after that. So that's that all works out pretty well. We could cruise higher, we probably should cruise higher, and we'd get even better TAS and an even better ground speed. But I am happy with 276 knots over the deck if it means that I can actually see the ground. Once you get up into the flight levels, and particularly 20 and above, you don't really see too much in terms of definition of the terrain. So anyway, folks, I said I'd mention talk about FS Economy, so let me fire that website up and take you through it. So this is the FS Economy homepage. Now, FS Economy is, I think, fairly well known throughout the flight simming community. It's been around for a long time. 17 years or so. So it's been around since Flight Sim 2004, I think. 17 years, we're now 2022. That's kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And what it is essentially a, how do they describe it? Do they actually describe it? I don't know. What is it? How about we read the manual? That might help. Does that tell you what FS Economy actually is? It is. There we go. So I'm going to try and blow that up, zoom that up for you a little bit, folks. I know it's difficult to read. It's a multiplayer persistent world add-on for flight simulators with an economical focus. It's kind of like an ecosystem. It is persistent in that the aircraft location, fuel levels are controlled by the players, and other players see those changes. And since FS Economy has been released way back when, a number of competitors have appeared on the scene. And yeah, I've mentioned a few of those in previous videos, although I haven't really covered them, and I generally don't use them actively. FS Economy is probably the only persistent sort of economic ecosystem-y thing that I fly with today, and I've been a part of FS Economy I think for about 7 years, something like that. So I've done a lot of flying in it. So this is not, let me make this really clear, I'm not an evangelist around FS Economy. I'm not trying to sell you anything, folks. This is all made up. Everything's virtual. Nothing really matters at the end of the day, folks. This is not real life. This is sim. This just gives, FS Economy, and I've spoken about this before, gives me a purpose for my simming. It has to me anyway. So this is what, look, and a lot of criticisms of the interface around FS Economy, and I think valid. Some of it's a little bit clunky and, circa 1998. But this is what, the current flight that we're doing right now, from Rocky to Hamo, this is what it looks like in FS Economy. So I've picked up an assignment. It's all, this is one way of making money. The primary way of making money is flying assignments, whether they be passengers, cargo, whatever. Flying assignments from one location to another. That's how you make money. And each assignment has a value which is set by the system based on various formulas and stuff. So the flight we're doing today is for 6 passengers wanting to go from Rocky to Hamo, and the system is going to pay me $22.20 for that, right? Which isn't a great return, to be honest. You can make a lot more money flying different assignments to different locations. After 7 odd years in the game, folks, I'm not chasing the dollars like I used to. I needed an assignment to go from Rocky to Hamo, and this was the one that appeared today. So it tells me a little bit about, and you can have more than one assignment, right? And again, if you're familiar with FS Economy, skip past this stuff. I'm going to be telling you how to suck eggs. You know all this stuff. This is more for new people that are looking to get into it, because after an update on the weekend, an upgrade to the server, they're now taking applications for new players. And that's really what's driving me to show you this today. If you're a viewer of the channel and you're looking at FS Economy, what it's about, wondering what it is about because you haven't been able to get in, this is kind of my really brief overview of what it's about. And I'm going to follow that through with a bit of a special offer. So, but this is the flight page. There's assignments. It tells me about my aircraft down here. and it's got a calculator for how much fuel you can carry if you want to carry certain configurations of packs and cargo and all that sort of stuff. That's sort of the flight page. It's called My Flight. What I'm going to show you next will actually have a whole lot of stuff blurred out because you don't need to see it, to be honest, and for my own privacy. But it's a banking page, and this is where it sort of shows your virtual value in FS Economy. Now, my that top account there is my individual account. I have a number of accounts underneath that, which are group accounts, known as group accounts in FS Economy, where I run groups for certain purposes. I won't go into that in too much detail. But what it's telling me there is that I've got $1,000 virtual dollars in my cash account and almost $2 million in my virtual bank. Now, that may seem like a lot. It isn't, folks. It really isn't. There are players in the world of FS Economy, absolutely multi-millionaires. I mean, we're talking not just single-digit millions. We're talking tens of millions, if not more. Because they've played a long time and because circumstances sort of allowed that to happen, let's say, and they took advantage, playing within the rules of the game, took advantage to make a whole lot of virtual coin. But it is quite a humble balance. But I'm grateful for it. It allows me, having $2 million almost in that particular account, gives me some freedom to buy stuff in the system. And that's what it's all about. You're buying and selling stuff. You're flying to make money, which you can then use to purchase aircraft, which you can then use to purchase FBOs at airports. So you don't buy airports in FS Economy, you buy FBOs at airports. And some of the larger airports have multiple FBOs, and I have 3 FBOs at present and a handful of aircraft. But over the years I've bought and sold FBOs and aircraft all around the world, sometimes for a good profit, sometimes at a loss. That's just the way it is. None of this is real. I don't take it too seriously. Some people take it really seriously. But what I wanted to do by showing you FS Economy really briefly there is to lead towards making I want to give something back to the community. Okay, so I have a number of aircraft, and as you're hearing my words in the edit, I will actually be showing the aircraft on the screen right now. These are the aircraft that I'm offering to the flight simming community at a greatly discounted rental rate. So I rent out most of my aircraft at sort of reasonable prices. This aircraft that we're looking at, that we're flying right now, the TBM 930, it goes for $950 an hour rental. That's including fuel, so wet price. For the month of February and for the month of March, I'm going to offer 4 of my aircraft for the grand total of $1 dry per hour rental, which means you're only paying for fuel. Okay, so 1 hour dry means you're 1 hour for the hire of the aircraft, and then you pay for fuel on top of that. Now, something like the TBM 930 here is burning. We're quite a high fuel burn today. You can get it a fair bit lower than that. We're burning 70 gallons an hour. Fuel in the FS Economy world is charged out at $4 something per gallon, something like that. So multiply, $70 a gallon, 70 gallons by, 4, whatever it is. You do the maths, folks. That's all you're going to pay is fuel. And I have 4 aircraft that I'm offering up. One here in Australia, this very aircraft, which will soon find its way to Hamilton Island. Okay. And I've got 3 aircraft, including another TBM 930 over in New Zealand. So in New Zealand, I have a TBM, which is currently located in Nelson, I think. I have a Diamond DA40, which is currently in Westport as I film this video, so on the South Island. And I also have a Cessna 152, which I think is up in Whakatane on the North Island. So all of those will be made available to whoever wants to rent them for the grand total of $1 dry per hour. by the time this video makes the YouTube. So for the month of February and March. Now, if no one takes me up on that offer, that's perfectly okay. But if you are thinking about FS Economy, joining it, or perhaps getting back into it, because it's gone through a bit of, a few troubles, and you want to make some virtual coin in Australia or New Zealand, flying stock aircraft, okay, so these are stock aircraft, you don't have to purchase anything. This might be a way of helping you build a bit of a virtual bank balance, and it's my way, one way of giving back to the community and saying thank you to people who have subscribed to my channel and are so supportive of my little caper here. So there you go, folks. 4 aircraft up for rent, $1 drive per hour for the month of February and March. I will see you when we get overhead the city of Mackay. Alright, so we've just passed overhead the town of Serena, which is to the south of Mackay. This is Greater Mackay ahead of us there, folks. What can I tell you about Mackay? So I spent a little bit of time there, admittedly quite a long time ago now, doing a little bit of FIFO, fly in, fly out stuff, working out at the Dalrymple Bay coal terminal, one of the various expansions that they did to said coal terminal. This is Mackay Airport right here, folks. Sorry about that. Yeah, just ahead of us on the coast. And then the greater city of Mackay. Now from Mackay we're going to head out over the water. Overhead, did we say Brampton Island? And then Lindeman and then into Hamo. It won't take us long from here. We're doing a good clip over the ground thanks to a tailwind. But yeah, fond memories of Mackay. Didn't spend enough time there to actually explore much of the region. Kind of confined to the city. Kind of there purely to work, to get the job done. So didn't get to enjoy the surrounds very much. Fair bit of cane, sugar cane up here. Actually, a lot of it. Still remember driving through the fields of cane as you sort of head down towards the terminal and stuff, which is down in that direction. But yeah, I won't labour the point, folks. I'm not an expert on Mackay. George will be making the turn out towards Hamo. I'll rejoin you for the approach, and we hope that Jude is willing to get on board. I know that her captor is certainly willing to let her go, but will Jude join me again for another flight? That may be a question to be answered in a future video, folks. Thanks, George, as you begin the turn. We'll see you for the approach, folks. So that's Brampton behind us, folks, and then our next waypoint will be Lindeman, and then out in the distance we've got Hamo. Beautiful part of the world here, folks, the Whitsunday region, the Whitsunday Islands. Yeah, look, some of this photo scenery here is a little bit off, to be honest. I noticed some of the coastline seemed a bit how's your father, as they say, but I have seen posts and screenshots of people in the simming community discovering this part of the world, and we're seeing seeing some stuff sort of pop in here, some detail. Look at those clouds. Clouds, they're not as good as they used to be, are they, folks? But yeah, as I was saying, it's great to see more people in the simming community discovering our fine country and enjoying themselves in doing so, because a lot of the comments are very complimentary. People discovering, literally they've never flown here, virtually or otherwise, and it's fantastic. let's hope that it's able to keep up with these world updates, and it gives us all some encouragement to discover other parts of our world. You do broaden your knowledge by travel. I learned that very young. A young fella, someone gave me that advice. You want to stop being so ignorant, get out and see the world, mate. And it gave me an opportunity to learn a lot, not just about other people and other places, but about myself. Not that I was consider myself a seasoned traveller compared to a lot of other people who've been a little bit more fortunate than I in terms of the financial means to do stuff. Anyway, folks, setting up for an approach here to Hamo. Here we go. So we're down through 5,000. We're look, we're on profile at this point. Jump upstairs quickly, put landing lights on because we can. Local barrow is 29.85 apparently. So that would be Hamo right there, folks. Cruise ship in port. Well, close enough to import. There's an airfield here. This would be Lindeman right here. It's like a grass strip, no, cross strip as well. Yeah, different styles of accommodation and stuff out here, depending on what type of experience you want to have or how much money you have. That's more the point. I mean, the type of experience is, you know, staying on an island in the Whitsundays. No matter which island, it's pretty bloody good, right? But some of them are a little bit more exclusive than others. I don't remember where Lindeman sits in the hierarchy. I've never been to Lindeman in real life, but look, there's not a huge development there. Chances are it's kind of exclusive or exclusive-ish. Hamo, there's a little bit more variety. It sort of caters to a broader range, I think. It's more of a family destination. And then over on the coast, sort of over there, is the town of Airlie Beach, which a beautiful place to visit. A lot of backpackers and younger tourists find their way to Airlie. And we've probably left this a little bit too late. We have altitude down to 1500. Why not? Now, considering where the wind is coming from, it probably is a sign that we should be planning to arrive 1-4. But we're not going to do that. In fact, what we're going to do is go autopilot off at this point. We're going to land runway 32 Hamo, even with the tailwind. This subscriber really needs to get Jude out of his basement. We're in a rush. Pressure of time, folks. So we'll go straight in runway 14. High speed descent for the moment. We're hauling ass at 220 knots. We'll have to start thinking about reducing our speed before too much longer. Been a very enjoyable flight, as most of them are for me in my home country. And can I just take the opportunity again to thank everyone for the support and for their patience and tolerance. some of the other videos and tolerance for my nonsense and stuff. We'll try and have a bit of fun, folks. We all need a bit of light relief, eh? I find I need it more and more as I get older. But there's room for all comers. Different styles in the flight sim content create community. So many channels now of content. Take gear and first stage of flap. Straight in approach here. Runway 32 Hamo. Beautiful weather, hey? Magic stuff. 25 degrees outside. Just gorgeous. Nice place to be in real life today. Just re-trimming a little bit. That tailwind has turned into a light crosswind, like a southwesterly. Going to leave this flap deployment quite late, but we'll get there. We're good. Final stage of flap now. We'll get ourselves slowed. Might be slightly hot by the time we get to the threshold, but we'll be right. Right back on the torque now. Speed coming off. Runway 32 Hamilton Island, folks. There we go. We're on. Try and keep it reasonably centered. There we go. Always a challenge, always a little bit of dancing required on the pedals. So we'll just make our way to the terminal. This is a custom freeware rendition. Having a little bit of trouble with the pedals as usual. But that looks a lot like the default Asobo version. I could have sworn this looked different. That looks a lot like it did the other day. I wonder if I don't have it activated. Oh, there you go. Anyway, folks, I gotta get this thing parked real fast and get the word out. Maybe send a carrier pigeon to that subscriber to say, hey, the plane's arrived. Where is she? Righto, parked, folks. Thanks for your company on another flight. We'll see if Jude can be coerced into joining me for a future flight. Thanks, folks. Bye for now.